Hey everyone, it's me, Ari Rashid. I'm an anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel. Don't forget, you can donate the links below and check my novels on Amazon. Alright, you go to the mall with your friends. Let's assume you're a woman, okay? So, for example's sake, your name is Samantha. You and your friends, female friends, go to the mall. You see this beauty shop. And oh my God, they have beautiful dresses there, fancy dresses. All of you walk into the shop. You're even allowed to put on the dresses to see if it fits you, and the dress fit all of you perfectly. But then you look at the price tag, and all of you take off the dresses, put them back on, and walk. Act like the shop never existed. Why? Because one dress alone is 3/4 of your salary. So you know you can't afford it. And even if you would save your cash, you have to save at least 4 months of your paycheck in order to afford it. And those dresses are very difficult to wash if they get dirty. So you have to go to a special place for them to clean them, which will also cost you a lot. So the reason why you all act like, that shop, we never even been there, you denied the whole situation because you felt humiliated, you felt embarrassed. You were so excited about the dress, but then the disappointment came in. It's too expensive. Now, it would have been more practical to look at the price tag before you went on fitting the dress in the dressing room. But anyway, use this example for now. When you enter a shop or a mall, or you want to go to a restaurant, you check the price tag. Can we afford this financially? If we can afford it, is it worth it? I mean, if you go to a restaurant and you can buy steak for $400, but it's just a little piece of steak, you may think, is this worth it for a little piece of steak for $400, even as a 5-star restaurant? Maybe we can get steak for like $5 and it's just as juicy, just as good. So when it comes to finances, many of us, because we rely on a paycheck and the finances are not limited in amount, we have no choice but to check, can we afford this? Does it fit our budget? Because if we exceed our budget, now we need to borrow from other people, or we need to go into debt and all of that. And if you don't have it, it's an issue. We don't want to go through that. So you need to pay your bills, you need to do groceries, so you want to make sure everything fits. This is understandable. You want to be responsible with your finances to the best of your ability. You can never prevent unexpected things that will force you to spend more than you have. Such things can happen, but those are exceptions. You get what I'm saying here? Now, I'm not telling you to treat human beings as commodities you buy in a shop. I'm not telling you to treat human beings like vehicles, like cars you buy at a car dealership. I just want you to understand, when you're dealing with another human being, you need to ask yourself, how far is this human being willing to go to get emotional payment? Because look at this. Every human being is a vulnerable and fragile creature. All of us are. All of us have material needs. We need food, we need water, we need sleep, we need movement for our body, we need clothes. And all of us have immaterial needs. We need connection, we need to be loved, we need to be recognized, all of that. The primary deep need we all have is connect with Heavenly Father. And this connection that we have when we serve Heavenly Father confirms our self-worth. And when our self-worth is confirmed, we are at peace internally, and based on this peace, we relate to other people. That's how we're built. With a lot of human beings in the world, it doesn't happen. This peace does not exist on the inside. So instead, there's a void, there's a deficit. And because there's a void there, human beings are craving to fill this void. And that's where the longing for emotional payment comes from. So what happens is that people in the world, because life itself can be overwhelming, with all the risk involved, we as human species, we tend to restrict ourselves and how we think and feel, and now we want others to join us in our restriction. And once we find others who think and feel according to the same restrictions, we bond with them. That's how human beings operate. And we expect others to verify and validate our restrictions. This verification validation is what we call respect. Respect is nothing to do with quality, honor, or good behavior. Respect simply means we want something and expect you to verify and give into it. You don't do it, we feel hurt, rejected, and we lash out. That's what we call punishment. Now, you have punishments that are codified by law, through politics, and I have punishments that people do individually without breaking the actual laws of the land. In any case, it all comes down to emotional payment. And this goes quite far. People will put up with abusive situations. People will put up with being mistreated as long as it would get them emotional payment. That they're known as a good person, they're known as a good woman, they're known as someone with boundaries, they're known as someone who doesn't take crap from others. This emotional payment, this longing for it, it's a defect. We shouldn't be chasing emotional payment from our fellow human beings, especially not from children. Unfortunately, this happens a lot in the world. It goes so far that even parents beat their children, offload unrest on the children when the children don't verify the parents' restrictions. This is out of line. However, it's often tolerated in many parts of the world. It's only when someone turns emotional payment into something of sexual violence, then we call it pedophilia and we go after an individual. However, no adult should seek any emotional payment for any child. We shouldn't seek emotional payment for anyone to begin with. Now, this tendency to seek emotional payment is a result of this deficit that human beings have, this void where they don't serve the Heavenly Father. Someone who fully serves the Heavenly Father, it doesn't come up with to search nor look for emotional payment from other people. There are believers who are still operating in darkness, not according to the Heavenly Father, and they still have this void there, and because of that, they act like people from the world. So it's even hard to even know they are a believer because they act just like people from the world. So we're not meant to seek emotional payment from one another because that tends to become toxic. And here's another thing. This long for emotional payment, it keeps you out of balance. So you even tend to forget that you're dealing with fellow human beings just like you. You tend to treat others as either a supply that make you feel good or not, which is narcissistic. And this is a problem in many human relationships, this narcissistic tendency to use others as supply, emotionally. Now, a lot of people out there, actually the majority of people, they have some natural balance in themselves. So when they're longing, their craving for emotional payment goes too far, and the behavior gets way out of balance and it becomes dangerous, they realize, hold on a minute, what am I doing? You know what, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get bad consequences. I don't want to harm myself and other people. What the heck is this? Or when we see others behave that way, we think, what the heck are you doing, yo? So with a lot of people, it's kind of kept in check. However, there are times this longing for or this crave for emotional payment turns into addiction, obsession. And when the craving for emotional payment is frustrated over and over again, it can turn into anger, and anger can turn into deep bitterness. And this is why often when it comes to murder cases, the first suspect is often the husband or the wife or the sex partner. Because one way a lot of people seek emotional payment is through sexual activity. Yes, I said it. A lot of people are using sex as a way to fill up this void, this psychic void on the inside they have. And there are a lot of men doing this. And when men are seeking emotional payment through sex and the payment doesn't come through, they can turn into monsters. I'm not saying that every man who seeks emotional payment through sex and doesn't come through, they turn like that, but it often happens. And the women lose their minds too. When they open up themselves sexually to someone and there's no emotional payment, oh my God. And with women, it's often they want to control the men, they control their sex partners. Anyway, what I'm saying here is that this craving for emotional payment is a defect. We shouldn't operate like this. It goes against our design. It's unstable, it can be burdensome, it's toxic, and leads to unnecessary conflict. Nevertheless, that's the world. Only believers who fully walk by faith in full surrender to the Father, only they outgrew this tendency to seek emotional payment from other people. So anytime you're dealing with someone in the world, if they are not a believer, walking by faith, 100% serving the Heavenly Father, if they're not that, then you're dealing with someone who's one step away from becoming a junkie. They don't have to become a junkie by being addicted to drugs or being an alcoholic or addicted to porn, whatever. Junkie on an emotional level. A lot of people only want to be around you if you're worse off than them, just so they can get narcissistic supply out of you. It's not only narcissists that look for narcissistic supply. A lot of people want others around them to be worse off than them so they can feel bad about themselves. There's also a type of emotional payment they're looking for. Again, I'm not saying everyone in the world who's not a believer is a narcissist, a reprobate, and only out there to take advantage of people. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this craving for emotional payment is something you need to consider when you deal with worldly people. So you cannot get this out of them. The only way for this to stop is when they fully serve their Father. As long as they're not fully serving their Father, as long as they're in escape mode, what the Bible calls sin, this craving for emotional payment will be there. So understand, anyone in the world who's not fully serving their fathers, anyone who's not living a godly life, serving their Father, this is what goes on with them. They are craving emotional payment. They may not tell you this, they may not admit themselves, but that's what they're craving. And they have a certain criteria of people they expect to get the payment from. And those are the type of people they keep close to them. And those criteria of people don't have to be people they actually are fond of, but it's just they get supply out of them. And in a creature like this, they may be on good terms with you. They may not be arousing you, none of that. But just know, they're okay with you because somewhere you don't threaten the quote-unquote payment they expect to get. The moment they perceive it as a threat to their emotional payment, you don't even have to be the actual literal threat to their life. But the moment you're a threat to their emotional payment that they feel like they're entitled to, they turn on you. Again, not everyone in the world like this becomes a narcissist, becomes a sociopath or psychopath, whatever. No. You just need to ask yourself, how far is this human being willing to go to get emotional payment? Now, again, majority of people, thank God, they have some balance in them that holds them. The overall majority, I'm saying. In some places, it's not a majority, but you get what I mean. Majority of those you likely encounter, that's what I mean. However, you have those people in the world where their balance is off. And those what we call sellouts. They go quite far, even at the expense of their own safety and their own well-being to get emotional payments. They'll even throw others under the bus. They'll even set other people up just to get that high, to get this relief of being recognized. It's easier to see this in women because women cannot hide this when they're like this. It's quite disturbing and annoying to see this when women are like this. Nevertheless, women can't hide it. Men are a bit more, capable to hide this. But even then, at some point, it will show. And the female sellout is more motivated naturally, due to their femininity, to comply with whatever program they're selling out to. That's why cults love to recruit women, because it's quite effective. Because the women go very far for the cult, even against the law often. Now, let me tell you, when you notice that a human being is out of balance and they have these sell-out tendencies, I'm telling you, you know from that point on that you have to watch your mouth around this individual. Only talk about things that are relevant to the situation. Don't speak too much. Don't let them too close to get too close involved with you and in your affairs. Just know this individual, anytime they run on empty because they don't get enough verification from the public, they crash and they will either play the victim or do something desperate to get narcissistic supply, even if that means stabbing on other people. They'll go into a psychotic mode, even just for a few hours, but during that few hours in psychotic mode, they can cause a lot of harm to other people. Sometimes harm that's permanent. I'm telling you, how far is this human being willing to go to get emotional payment? Is a question you need to ask yourself. Too many of you don't ask yourself those questions. Look, we shouldn't have to ask these questions when we encounter people, because every human being has the natural obligation to serve the Heavenly Father and do His will on the earth. If everyone would do this, the will of the Heavenly Father, everyone would be stable and safe on the earth. There wouldn't be any danger on the earth. And we wouldn't even have to take any precaution, no safety measure, because everyone is safe. But guess what? Not everyone is safe on the earth. Okay? So we have to ask these questions. Now, not everyone out there is directly dangerous. Not everyone out there is immediate danger or threat to you, but they can be unsafe to be around. And when someone is unsafe, ask yourself, how far are they willing to go to get emotional payment? This is not something you can ask them directly, because first of all, the question is awkward. Some may be offended, they will cause a lot of trouble unnecessarily, or they don't even know how to answer because they don't realize that they're like that. But whether they realize they're like that or not, it's irrelevant. That's how they are. You need to estimate, based on research and investigation, how far this human being is willing to go for emotional payment. And if you pick up that they're out of balance and that they are likely to sell out, I'm telling you, do not run your mouth around this individual. You don't have to turn on them. You don't have to ghost them. You don't have to block them everywhere. You don't have to argue them. No, just peacefully keep your emotional distance and also your financial distance from this individual. I'm telling you. Too often, we just assume someone is stable. We just assume someone is not going to go that far. Listen, the moment someone leaks out, because human beings often show what they are without even knowing it. Someone can be a professional actor. Someone can be a CIA-trained actor, and still their body language, even their own mind, will leak out what they're really about. Often, people were dishonest, or often people have something to hide. Without them even realizing it, they're leaking out things out of their mouth in their behavior of what they're about. And when they're leaking, that's up to you to pick it up. Again, if you're not a body language expert, don't go out there guessing and speculating and come to wrong conclusions. If you need help, research this. There are books out there you can read, there are documentaries you can watch, and above that, as a believer, pray about it. Ask Holy Spirit to guide you. That's what you should do anyway. When people leak out what they are, don't ignore it. That's what they are. And act accordingly. You can have harmonious dealings with people like that if you just treat them for what they are. Stop treating them how they should be. They should be stable adults, processing the past, processing information, looking for solutions peacefully. That's how they should be. If they're not that way, then they're not that way. You need to treat them as they are, not as they should be. If treat people as they should be, the problem is with you. I'm not saying that there is no problem with them. Of course, a problem with them. But now the problem is with you because you won't admit how defective or damaged they are. And because of that, you put yourself unnecessarily in a bad situation. Know what you're dealing with. Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ. Be at peace. Share this video. Subscribe to the channel. Become a member of the channel. Hit the like button. Donate links below. Check my novels on Amazon. And I'll see you in my next live stream. Shalom.